guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Peace Jones. Don't forget to like the video, thumbs up, comment below because I love chatting with you guys. Hit the subscribe button so that you can continue to see me, and hit that notification bell so that every time I upload new content, you'll be notified. All right, guys? So I do have a few different topics that I cover on my channel. This particular topic can be tied into either the Dating Chronicles, which is my dating segment, or Healing with Me, which is my healing segment. Okay, guys? Now, this topic clearly is about how an absent father affects a female, a girl, a woman's choices in men, right? Now, I don't know if you guys watching have experienced this, whether you have a father in your life or not, whether you have grew up with a father figure or not. I personally have not, and therefore most of the things that I discuss, I have actually experienced and I can relate to. A few of them I have not, and I'll let you know which ones those are, okay? So to start this off, I'm going to give you guys a super short story time, and then after that, I'm going to get into the different topics, okay? So my story time. This is when I knew that I needed a father figure in my life. Like, I was literally on campus like, Dad, is that you? Dad, like legit. I was looking, I needed my father, okay? So I had this boyfriend. We were together for maybe 2.5 years in college. He was my first true love. He was my everything, my longest relationship, and we broke up. He cheated on me multiple times, and I was devastated, okay? Like heartbroken, crushed, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe, like literally forcing myself to put one foot in front of the other and continue on with life, okay? So after this breakup, I literally had to process so much in my mind, and the first thing I craved was my father. I was like, how did I get here? How do I get out of here? Where is the love? I need to talk to a man. I need to ask him, like, what's going on? Is this normal? Am I going to survive this? Why did he do this to me? Why do I feel like this? I need love. I need a hug. I need affection. I need to be consoled. Like, where's my dad, right? And so it was so weird because my dad hasn't been a part of my life, and I've gone through so much in life, but that was the first time that I was genuinely like craving my dad, looking for my dad. And so that said a lot to me. Like, that connection between your father and a male is so real, and I never realized that, right? So now on to the actual topics of discussion. Now, number one, we are going to start with, when you don't have a male figure in your life, you just simply don't have an example of what a man is, right? You don't know what he's supposed to do in your life. You don't know what purpose he serves. You don't know how he's supposed to act, how he's supposed to carry himself. You don't really know what a man is, right? You might know what a boy is because you go to school with little boys, or you might know what an adolescent, teenager type male is, but you don't have a strong sense of what a man is, right? So that's number one. Number two, you really don't know what love is supposed to feel like, right? And so this was something that I could relate to, right? Like, you think you do, you might know what lust is. You might be like, oh, that's so cute. He sent me a flower for Valentine's Day, or, oh my gosh, he hugs me after third period in school, or like, let's talk older adult. Like, okay, oh my gosh, like, we're in college and he asked to study with me, and he's always like taking me out, and he put my name across the billboard at the basketball game. But it's like, what is true love supposed to feel like? Not lust, not I'm playing games with you, not I buy you nice gifts. What does a man's love really feel like? What does a man's adoration really feel like, right? And it's hard to figure that out. You're playing that guessing game when you have not ever felt that from your father, right? So that affects the choices that you make, because you may settle for something that's not really love. You might be head over heels for a guy that's simply in lust with you, but you wouldn't know because you've never felt true love from your father, okay? Then after that, we have, you don't know what a man is supposed to do, okay? So that was one thing I experienced as well. I never really knew what a man's purpose was, what a man should do, what a man, I'm not going to say is required because that sounds like it's a job or something, but like I didn't know what a man's role was supposed to be in a relationship. So for example, if you're getting gas, right? I don't care whose car it is, the ladies or the man's. I don't care who's driving, the female or the male. The man is supposed to get out and pump that gas, okay? You're not supposed to be out there pumping gas and having a man sitting in the car with you. I wasn't aware of that. If you're walking down the street with a guy, he's supposed to come on the outer edge closer to traffic just in case something happens, you'll be protected. I wasn't aware of that. If a guy wants to take you out and court you, he should be making those plans. He should be asking you, he should be paying for the date, he should be setting up the date, right? There's just so many different things that a man should do. You shouldn't be trying to assemble your bed while he's downstairs playing video games. You shouldn't be slaving outside pushing a lawnmower while your man is in the house drinking a cocktail, right? There's things that a man is supposed to step up to the plate and do. He's supposed to step in front of you. He's supposed to lead. He's supposed to, make those decisions. You shouldn't be out here just dealing with any type of male. You need to find a man, right? So that's what you should be looking for. And it's hard to look for that if you don't even know what they're supposed to be doing, okay? Then you can become desperate for love. Now, this is something that I have not ever experienced. Surprisingly, and I'm very honest about my traumas, and I do have them, but surprisingly, I do not believe I have daddy issues, okay? So this is one portion of a daddy issue, right? And that is being desperate for love. If you don't have a father figure in your life, that can affect the way you choose men, because you can be just choosing them off of desperation, right? At this point, and this doesn't have to be older women. This can be like 13, 17. Whenever you are desperate for love, you will literally go for anything. Any type of male, anyone that will give you attention, anyone that looks your way, anyone that lusts over you. It's like, boom, like I need that. And that also goes into hanging around way too long, right? He done had 6 kids on you. He done broke your nose. Y'all done gotten into so many different fights. He done messed up your credit. He done trashed your car, but you're hanging on for dear life. You're desperate for love. You don't know how to be on your own, right? These are issues that can occur if you don't have your father in your life. So now it's affecting the choices you're making in men, because you don't even care. You just want a man. You don't care how he treats you. You don't care how he looks. You don't care what he's doing to you. You don't care if y'all can grow and build together. You're just desperate for love, right? And that's very dangerous. You can get yourself into some crazy situations being desperate for love, okay? Then another thing, you can develop a masculine mindset, right? And so this occurs when you really don't have anything to separate the femininity of a woman and the masculinity that a lot of women fall into due to the fact that their father isn't around. Now, usually when the father isn't around, a lot of times the mother is, and the mother's playing both roles. And most of the times when a mom plays both roles, and maybe it's not a mom, maybe it's an aunt, grandmother or whatever, right? But usually when that mother figure plays both the role of the father and the mother, they adopt these toxic masculine type of energies, right? And they pass it right on down to the daughter. And so that could be things like, you don't need a man, go to school, worry about this. Men are this, men are dogs, don't listen to them. Never trust a man. All men are liars. Just a lot of negative thoughts about men, right? And so you develop that, right? So now you have this more masculine way about you, more masculine mindset where it's like, I don't care about no man. I'm just going to use him for this. Or I don't care about no man. I'm not even trying to date. I don't want no dirty, dusty man. These men, this and that. I can do this for myself. I don't need this. I'm going to do this instead. I got this. I got me. Men are just this and that. And then before you know it, you're like 35 and you're still preaching this. Men ain't shit, or you're super independent, or you don't need this and that. And it's just like, well, damn. I kind of wanted to have kids with a man. Or dang, I kind of wanted to get married to a man. And it's like, you didn't just wrote off all these different men, and you never were able to really focus on building a healthy relationship, or even finding a good man that may have changed your mind about how horrible men are according to your mother or your aunt or your grandmother. And now you're kind of stuck, because now you got to unravel all this pain. You got to unravel that mindset, and you got to be willing to kind of start all over again and figure it out from there, and then choose a man, right? So then we have, and this kind of ties or rolls right into what I was just saying. Not having a father figure present in your life when you go to choose men to date and deal with, it can make you very bitter, very angry, and it can be really hard to heal from, right? So a lot of times when your father isn't present, it kind of makes you feel like, okay, I have this void, and he abandoned me, or he didn't care enough about me, so that must be all men, right? And so you just get really bitter after maybe your first breakup. You haven't healed. You don't attempt to heal. Now every man is the same way. And I'm not saying this like vouching for men, like, oh, men are so great, and only thing you have to do is just find the right one, and then you'll have this fairy tale. Like, trust me, I know, right? Men can be tough, and relationships can be tough. But what I'm saying is, if you hold on to all the bitterness and hatred that you may have because your father wasn't present, instead of going to therapy, working through that, developing more of a positive mindset about it, kind of finding some sort of acceptance at some point in life, and just moving forward, if you don't do that, it can really prevent you from finding your Mr. Right, right? You're a good guy, you're happily ever after, because you kind of stuck. You stunted your growth. You haven't moved on past the first thing that happened to you, or the first three things that happened to you, or the first disappointment, which was your father not being there. So you definitely want to heal, and you definitely want to work through things that may have triggered something after a breakup or a bad experience, and then also work through finding that acceptance and that forgiveness for your father who wasn't a part of your life, okay? Then we have one of my favorites. You create trauma bonds, okay? So if you guys don't know what a trauma bond is, I will make a video about that in the future. But basically, long story short, a trauma bond is, and this doesn't have to be a relationship, a romantic relationship thing. This can be with friendships and stuff as well. I actually had a friendship that was a trauma bond. And basically what happens is you connect deeply with people only based on trauma. Solely based on trauma. And the thing is, the connection is so deep because you get this sense of like safety, or like similarity with a person because you guys have experienced the same trauma, to where as though you feel like, oh, we're loyal to each other, like we feel the same thing and we can understand. There's that sense of like, some type of bond that's so deep because you guys both have felt and experienced these same traumas, right? And that can be confused for real love and real compatibility and real friendship and a real genuine connection, right? So, for example, my ex-friend and I, the trauma bond that we share was that we both didn't have our parents in our lives growing up. And a lot of the things that we experienced were very similar. And so we connected like this super strong bond, like this sisterhood. And it wasn't until a few years later that we realized like we're not on the same page. We aren't the same type of women. We don't enjoy the same types of activities. And it was like, dang, that friendship was more so based on that trauma bond than anything else. But it felt so real and it felt like we loved each other so much. But it was really just that connection through trauma. So when you don't have your father present in your life, a lot of times if you connect with a guy who's experienced the same things, let's say your dad wasn't in your life because he was in drugs, you connect because he was on drugs. I'm sorry. You guys know how I get when I talk too fast. And then you meet a guy who also didn't have his dad in his life because his dad was on drugs. It's like, oh my gosh, like boom, we were meant to be. We were both growing up in these toxic households. I understand you, you understand me. And it's not until 5 years and 2 babies and a marriage later that you're like, oh shit, we really never liked each other. We really never loved each other. We really were never compatible. It was just that we both had these drug addict parents and we just fell in love off of the fact that we both had hard, challenging upbringings, right? So yes, that's very common. Also, knowing your worth. This was something huge for me, and actually one of my exes that cheated on me multiple times helped me realize that I didn't know my worth. So basically, story time on that. After him cheating on me 600 times, he would literally say, "You don't even know your worth. You don't even know your worth, girl." He would say, you don't know the type of woman that you are, the caliber of woman that you are and what you deserve. And all the while, I'm all upset that he's cheating. And then I finally took it in and I said, you know what? Why is this man telling me that basically I don't deserve him? And I had to really tap into that. And I was like, you're right. I'm sitting out here giving my all, doing all of this, and not even realizing that I deserve so much more. I deserve to be in the hands of a man that truly loves me, that truly has my best interest, that wants to be, committed and faithful to me. And I didn't know my worth. Now, knowing your worth and having self-esteem and confidence are a little bit different. I've always had high self-esteem and confidence, but can I say I didn't know my worth? Yes. Like I was literally just settling for things that I shouldn't have and not even tapping into like what I genuinely deserve for the type of woman that I am and all the love that I give out, right? Next, we have how men operate, think, act, and what they require, right? So this is something that I think goes overlooked a lot. And I think that it's very important, and it's very important that we tie this into not having a father figure present. And that is, when you don't have a man in your house growing up, you really don't know what to expect from a man. Now, you could have a male, you could have a brother, you could have a cousin, an uncle, but if you don't have an actual man to see his mannerisms, to see how he acts or reacts when he's really happy, when he's satisfied, when he's upset, when he is proud, when he's had a bad day, you really don't know how to pick up on certain traits with a man, right? So I guess, for example, that would be like, let's say having a father in your home, every single time he got really upset, he would not want to lash out. So he would go to a separate room and just kind of detox, and your mom would always let you and your siblings know, like, hey, dad is having a rough time, leave him alone for a moment, he needs to get through this, right? And then let's say you start dating and you're dating a guy, and the guy just goes on rampages whenever he gets angry. He starts kicking stuff, he starts knocking stuff down, he starts punching holes in the wall, he starts screaming, right? You won't know how a man is supposed to genuinely handle certain things and make sure that no one around him feels threatened or unsafe, right? And not to say that everyone has the same levels of anger or they cope the same way. I'm not saying that at all, because there's no one way to deal with being upset, right? But you can get an idea of how things are supposed to look and how a functional relationship and a healthy way that healthy ways that your man can deal with certain things if you have seen that before, right? I mean, you might just think after your man starts punching holes in the wall and ripping stuff up that, oh, this is how men act. You know, men just are a little bit more angry than women, and when they get mad they have to let it all out, so go ahead and punch those holes in the wall, you know? Or on the flip side, let's say when your dad would have some huge accomplishment at work or get a bonus, and your mom would celebrate that, and she would take you guys all out and you would all celebrate that and love on him and encourage him and whatever, right? And then let's say you have a man and he does something great and you don't even know how to celebrate that or how to acknowledge that or the type of love that your man may need in that moment, right? So to tie that all into how you choose a man, you may not see certain signs or traits as a warning, and you may get into something and then later realize that wasn't a healthy way to deal with things, or that wasn't how that should have gone down. You know what I mean? Hope that made sense. Last but not least, you overcompensate in order to make them happy, okay? This was probably number one for me. Coming from someone who's already a people pleaser, okay? I have a huge heart. I love to see people happy. I love to see people smile. And I just love to do for people. And so when it comes to my man, the one I love, I used to be like so sickeningly just, I don't even know the word, but I basically would do anything and everything. I would overcompensate. It wasn't equal. Half the times, I remember I had one boyfriend, he claimed he forgot it was Christmas, didn't get me a Christmas present, got his mom and sister one. I went all out. I got him all this nice stuff. Just doing like really thoughtful, nice things for men and just not receiving that in return. Or, you know, even feeling like, well, hey, he didn't do this for me, but I'm going to show him how it should be done. I'm going to go over the top. He didn't do anything for my birthday. He didn't get me anything for my birthday, but I'm going to, you know, put him in this 5-star hotel and fly him to Bora Bora and get him a custom cake because he's gonna see that he has the best girl ever. And it's just like, no, like, why are you overcompensating for someone who isn't doing 1/3 of that for you and probably has no plans on it? And not to say that love should be measured in gifts or whatever, but come on, like, you should not be overcompensating, writing this man's resume, driving him to work, buying him work clothes, and he hasn't even acknowledged that you're his girlfriend half the time. You know what I mean? Like, we really have to pay attention to like how equally yoked the relationship is, right? And how much you're investing and how much they're investing, because it can quickly become a situation where you're just being used. I mean, who doesn't like love, affection, attention, and nice things? And if someone's getting that, they're probably not going to tap out of it until they've gotten all that they want, right? And that's definitely a direct result of not having a male figure in your life and knowing, you know, what you deserve, what you should be getting, what is an equal balance, and just really preventing yourself from overcompensating. Okay, so that is it, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you can relate to any of those things I went over, please comment below. If you can't, please still comment below. Guys, I want to hear your input. Females, I want to hear your input, and I will see you guys next time. All right, peace out.